Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Happy Friday. It is not Friday when I'm recording this, so sorry. I had to look at what day it was. I have a new calendar. I have a little desk calendar, so I'm excited to be able to know what date it is and not just live in a weird time warp where I don't know what the date is. And not that I'm like actively not know. I don't know really even what I'm saying, but happy Friday if you are watching this the day that it comes out, and if not, happy whatever day it is for you. I hope you are enjoying said time warp, because I have no idea what date, time zone, really anything that you are listening to this or watching this in. So how weird is that? How weird is that we literally, like, for me right now, it is Tuesday, February 23rd, and for someone in Australia, it's like the 28th in like 2027, you know? That's so crazy that they just like are so far ahead in the future. But hello, welcome back. I hope you guys are having a good day. I know I am for sure. I wanted to kind of give you guys a little update on how I'm feeling, because last time I had my episode, I kind of talked about the weird like burnout I was feeling after New York. Not really burnout, but more like creative block. I guess if I wanted to like look back on it now, I guess it wasn't so much of a creative block and more of like, I just didn't have the motivation. I didn't like really know what I was doing, and I wanted to just like not do it. I don't know. I was feeling kind of weird since coming back from New York, just because it was such a creative, inspiring place, and then I came back here and it felt like my life was put on pause once again. A little update on that. I'm feeling better. I feel like it literally just took me like making a few pieces of content and like getting back in the zone for me to get back in the zone, if you will. So yeah, just to kind of reiterate the fact that even if you are feeling like you're in a rut or something, or feeling that creative block, it will always come back to you. So that is good to know. This week has been weird. Just been like, well, no, it hasn't been weird. I don't even know what I'm saying. It's been good. I like have just been feeling very productive this week. I know it's only Tuesday, but yesterday I just had a crazy productive day. And it's like interesting because I didn't really like push myself to be productive, if that makes sense. Like I wasn't like, I have to do this, I have to get this done. I was kind of like, okay, like today I'm gonna have a good and productive day. And I literally did so much yesterday. I filmed a video, I posted a different video, I worked out, I went on like multiple walks with my dog, I made a scrapbook, I wrote a letter to my friend, what else did I do? I wrote a letter to my friend. I applied to some jobs. I don't know. I just had like a ridiculously productive day. And I think it was just good because I was just like going through the flow of like doing one thing after the next, but not being like stressed about it, you know? I guess like once you're kind of on your own time and like doing things for yourself, I know I say this all the time, but like the second that you're doing things for yourself and whatever, it's like when you do better and you enjoy it and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I've just been feeling good, and it's like weirdly kind of warm today. Not warm. I mean, it's like 45 degrees. So it's not 25 degrees, but it's such a beautiful day and I'm just feeling positive. I feel good. I've been getting a lot of good comments back on my YouTube channel. I don't know. I just feel like I am growing and I'm in a good place right now is what I'm saying, I guess. And I really hope that you are too. And I hope that like maybe my positive energy will kind of like reach through to you through the screen or through your headphones or however you're viewing / listening to this. And just like, I don't know, I want to spread some of that good vibes with you all. Today, I actually have a guest on the podcast. I'm super excited. I haven't had a guest in a very long time, which is going to be a lot of fun. Miss Brinna Feist. It's going to be interesting. I don't really know. I wanted to plan out things, but I don't really know what to plan. I don't really know what to talk about. So I don't honestly know what we're going to talk about. She is super cool. She and I went to SCAD together, and we've only met like a few times, but she just like, she has an amazing aesthetic. Her Instagram is like flawless, and she's so cool. She is like just a curator of all pretty things, whether it's like vintage furniture or vintage clothing. Like, her style is impeccable. I just feel like she would be a really good person to talk about with like developing your personal style. I had an episode about that before, but I'd love to get somebody else's perspective on it. So developing your own personal style, as well as like finding yourself creatively. We graduated the same year, so graduating in the pandemic. I don't totally know what we're going to talk about, to be honest. Like I said, I didn't really have a plan. She was just someone that went to SCAD with me, and I was like, oh, you're super cool. I'm trying to find more people to be on this podcast. And I don't know who rescued who. Like, when people say that, like when like they like adopt a dog and they're like, who rescued who? No, I don't know who DM'd who, but so it was like a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, be on my podcast. Let's do podcast, blah, 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 blah. And I was like super excited about it. And then I was like, wait, I haven't had a guest in so long. If I have a guest, like I'm gonna have to like come up with questions, and like I feel like I want it to be less like interview and more like, let's just roll through it together. Let's just chat. Let's have a conversation, because that's one of the best things about podcasts. I feel like when you're listening to it, it feels like you're like there with the people and you're having a conversation with them, and just kind of like, I don't know, you're in on all the jokes. You're like a part of the community. And I don't know, I want it to feel like you are here with us on the Zoom that we were going to have, or you're here with me in my room hanging out, having a good time. But that will be in a few moments here. Before, though, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about like the community aspect of said podcast, this one that you are listening to at the moment. I have the Instagram, the Something Like Olivia pod Instagram, which I love. And to be honest, I sometimes forget that I have. I do like it. I like it a lot. I like posting on there, but I feel like the community is it's almost like too small, that like the reach doesn't really exist. You know what I mean? Like if I'm like asking you guys questions, like I'll honestly get more out of it if I'm asking the questions on just like my main Instagram. So just a reminder that I have that Instagram, and that I want to use it as like a platform where I'm interacting with you guys. And, if I ever have like questions, or I'm trying to like crowdsource like, whatever content, I would ask you guys there. But just, yeah, it's still really small. I guess I don't like talk about it that much. I feel like I should totally be someone that at the end of the podcast is like, okay guys, make sure to go check out this Instagram. And I don't know, I definitely forget to do that. I feel like sometimes, and it was like in my YouTube videos too, like for the longest time I didn't like ask people to like and subscribe because I was like embarrassed by it. I don't know, I guess I just like was self-conscious and felt like I was being like, I don't know, like needy. I don't even really know, but I always like felt kind of weird asking people to like and subscribe. But I don't know why I would. Like, you have to just like be your biggest fan all the time and self-promote yourself. So yeah, that's me now feeling a little bit awkward, but also asking you to please follow the Instagram. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. If you're listening to it on Spotify, subscribe, so you also get like notifications when I post new episodes, which is just, it's every Friday. Sometimes it's like every Friday first thing when you wake up, it'll be there because I've like pre-recorded, and sometimes it'll be Friday afternoon because I recorded the day before and didn't edit until Friday morning. But that's okay. Regardless, it'll be there at some point on Friday. Just listen on Saturday. I don't know, whatever you feel like doing. But yeah, again, with the like community thing, I want to try to grow the Something Like Olivia community and like base, I guess, fan base. I don't know, it makes me sound like so cool. But so I was thinking of doing another giveaway on my Instagram. So I did a giveaway when I did 10 episodes because I was like, 10 weeks of doing this, that's pretty cool. Which actually I realized was actually only 9 weeks of doing it because I just counted incorrectly, and the like welcome to the podcast trailer episode, whatever, I posted that, and then the next day I posted the same episode, the first episode. So like those happened in the same week, but I was like counting them and shouldn't have counted that one, but whatever. So I did a giveaway before, but I made the mistake of not like tagging people, like not having one of the requirements to enter the giveaway to tag people. I was just like, I don't want to be like, I want people to enter. I don't want it to be like too much pressure or whatever. So just like comment your favorite emoji or something. I think I did that. But I like really want to grow the community. I really want to grow like this because I don't know, I feel like I talk about some interesting things. I talk about some like pretty good things on here, and I want it to reach more people, obviously. And so with that being said, I am going to be doing a giveaway on my Instagram as well as my podcast Instagram, and it is going to be a follow the podcast Instagram and like tag 3 friends kind of vibe, kind of jive, kind of move, you know, because I definitely want people to follow and hear and all that stuff. So I don't know, just tell your friends, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Is this weird that I'm even saying this? I just want to have more of a community. Like, I listen to podcasts like Girls Gotta Eat is one of my like favorite podcasts. And they are gigantic. They have a huge following base. But they just do such a good job of having like a real community. Like, they will literally talk and be like, oh yeah, I was talking to this girl in the Facebook group and I was like chatting with this fan and I was like doing this. Like, I love that. And I want to have more of a connection with you guys, because as much as I could stare at myself in the camera for like hours and just talk to myself and hear the sound of my own voice, I also want you guys to be part of it more. So that's why I'm kind of trying to find more guests and have it like interacting with you guys, be more active on the Instagram, just what feels more like you are a part of it, you know, instead of me talking at you. It's like we're having a conversation kind of. I mean, obviously I wish you guys could like respond, like that's why doing like live stuff is kind of fun. I literally never do anything, like I don't go live on Instagram like ever, because I feel like it's embarrassing. But I don't know, maybe I'll go live on, like I'll do the giveaway and then I'll go live on like the podcast Instagram or something. I don't know, again, that's something like Olivia Pod. If you're not following it, you should follow it. I'm just feeling, like I said, I'm feeling really like motivated and productive and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of like on a roll and like jiving with this, I guess. So yeah, I want to make things happen. I want to like, if I have these opportunities, I don't know, I can't keep like waiting for something to happen. I can't keep like standing and like waiting for some new opportunity to come around the corner to like change my life, to get my career started, to get my creative juices flowing. I feel like if I'm able to do it myself, I should just do it, you know? Like, I'm capable of creating my own opportunities, so I might as well just do that and make it happen. I don't know. The world is my oyster, so might as well bank on that. I don't really even know what I'm saying anymore. That's kind of always the vibe of the podcast, though, you know? Just kind of me rambling. But that's not what I want. I mean, I do want it a little bit. But I want you to be more a part of it. So I don't know, a podcast that I really love is Acting My Age with Rohini Elise. She's so cool. And I think she is a really good example of someone who like involves her followers a lot. She'll always like read like submissions from her followers, and she'll really interact, like telling their stories and stuff like that. She has, I don't know if it's out yet, but she just posted on her podcast Instagram about submitting for a manifestation episode. And she's done it before, where she like has people submit their just wildest manifestations and goals and dreams, and they're super descriptive with it. Like, they're talking about what they're wearing in this said scene and the job that they have, where they're living, stuff like that. You know, they're really descriptive with what these like aspirations and manifestations are. And I don't know, I feel like the act of like writing that out, sending it to Rohini, having her read it on the podcast, having like multiple people hear it, having it just like out in the world like that. I mean, that is obviously if she chooses your story thing to read, but you know, I just feel like I'm like, wow, that's cool. Like, I feel like that could really benefit some people, you know? I mean, I don't know like all of the rules of manifestation. I've talked about manifestation a whole bunch on here, and I definitely believe in it. But I just feel like having it, like the more you put it out into the world, the more accurate it, like the more likely it is, the more energy you're putting into it. I'm not an expert. I mean, I'm sure like some goals are like, you're still going to get them. It's not going to be like, oh, sorry, Rohini didn't read it off on the podcast. This isn't going to come true. Only goals that Rohini reads on her podcast come true. Like, that's definitely not a thing, but I don't know. I just feel like stuff like that is really cool. Like, just her reading off like stories that listeners have submitted in general. And I don't know, I want to do more stuff like that. But so that's why I'm super excited to have guests. And this has just been a really long-winded ramble. I need to stop apologizing for like having a podcast. I literally do this all the time. Like I'm literally sitting here and like talking to you. This is the whole point of the podcast. It's just like talk to you, talk at you, whatever, talk with you. And I'm out here being like, sorry for doing my job. Sorry for doing, like, if you're still listening, like clearly you want to listen, you know, like you wouldn't be listening. Like I may very well be talking to 0 people right now, but if you're one person, maybe 2, maybe 3 people, if you guys are still listening, like you're interested. So I need to stop being like, sorry for saying this, sorry for saying that. I don't know. I need to be more unapologetically me. I guess. I don't know. But anyway, on that note, I'm super excited to have a guest today, and I'm super excited to have more guests. I've kind of put feelers out there on my Instagram for people who are like interested in being guests on the podcast. But if you're listening to this, please DM me either at something like Olivia Pod or olivebarrett, which is my personal Instagram. I would love to have you on the podcast. If you have anything you want to talk about, I was totally serious in the last episode when I talked about wanting to get an older person, someone who like I don't really know and doesn't really know me, so it's kind of like an unbiased advice giving, you know, just like general old people, general experienced, well-lived, well-traveled people. I'm very serious about that. I did line up one other guest, which I'm so excited about. So another girl who went to SCAD, but she's like literally so cool, and she has this zine that she puts out, and I don't want to reveal too much, but I'm really excited to have her on. And if you guys have any like really specific hobbies, I do want to have an astrologer on. I want to have an astronomer on. No, I'm just kidding. I want to have an astrologer on, astrologist, whatever. I would love to talk about like my birth chart and just kind of like learn more about that. I'm interested in that. I don't even know that much about it. I know that I'm an Aquarius, and that's like pretty much where that ends. But I would love to have someone kind of explain to me like my life, talk about the importance of like different signs and like planet alignments. I don't even know, but I would love to have someone who is like a pro at that come on the podcast. The thing is, I'm like, do I have to pay these people? Like, if I'm like out here getting like actual real professional people on the podcast, do I have to pay them, or is it kind of like a let's hang out for fun collaboration, quote unquote, kind of thing? I don't know. But what I do know is that I would love to have someone like that on the podcast. And again, so if you have like a specific career or something that you're really passionate about, maybe you like work a lot with like body positivity, or like you're an artist or a singer or something, like I would love to have people. If you want to like promote something, maybe you like are about to release an album, I don't know, literally anything, I would love to talk to you. So message me, let's get it going. Okay, so on that note, here we are with Brinna. Well, hello. Okay, I guess we should do. Hi. Yeah, you can. I feel like sometimes I've like recorded with like literally 0 guests before, but sometimes I'll be like, all right, and like welcome, and they're just like, and I'm like, you can say hi. Like I want you to like talk.
That's not an issue for me. I love to talk, so this is gonna be like, thank you, by the way, for like agreeing to do this. I felt like really awkward just being like, hey, I want to be on a podcast. Can I be on your podcast?
Dude, so yes, yeah. It's literally, I'm so glad, because honestly, okay, I don't know if you saw on my story, but I asked like people to be, I was like, if you want to be on the podcast, and someone was like, I'll talk about penguins, and I was like, bro, like sure, but like I don't know, I feel like yeah, it's, I mean, I know that like I don't have like any kind of huge following or anything, and like it's not like a super huge deal. Like obviously I could get away with having like some kid talk about penguins for like an hour, but honestly I don't know, when you were like, yeah, I was like, okay, yes, like someone like cool and interesting with like something to talk about. Like, so I'm excited that you're here. So
yeah. Well, I'm glad to be here. And when I suggested like, oh yeah, we could talk about sustainability or SCAD, I didn't realize that you would actually had like an entire episode on sustainability already. So I was like,
no
oh shoot,
worries.
What are we gonna talk about?
No, okay. Yeah, I like recorded an intro a little earlier, and I was like, yeah, I was super excited when we like decided we wanted to do the podcast together, because like she just has such a cool style and she's so cool, but then I was like, what are we gonna talk about? But I feel like I don't know, I feel like I want my podcast to be less of like an interview, you know, like I don't want to like put you on the spot. Like I feel like we should just like chit chat, you know, like make people feel like they're here. Yeah. So honestly, whatever you want to talk about, I guess you could start by like talking a little bit about yourself. I feel like I'm talking like a mile a minute. Sorry, I'm excited to be here.
Okay. I'm excited too. So my name is Brinna Feist, for everybody watching. Some people don't know how to pronounce my name, so I'm just
me included. Sorry.
That's okay. That was so funny. Yeah, literally Olivia sent me an Instagram message and she's like, hey, can you just like record your name really fast, because I don't know how to pronounce it.
I just don't want to butcher it and like be like, oh, it's so embarrassing. Like you never know. So just in case.
I literally have gotten that my whole life. Like I told you, somebody called me banana one time, like literally like, not even joking. I thought it was banana, and I was like, all right, sure, we're just my new identity now. But yeah, so my name is Brinna. I'm a graphic designer. I currently live in Jacksonville, Florida. But Olivia and I know each other from SCAD. We both went to SCAD for like the same amount of time, and we both actually did College Fashionista, and I think that's kind of how we like, officially met. Like that whole College Fashionista experience, which was so much fun.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I only did like, I think I only went to like 1 or 2 of the meetups. I wish, like, looking back on it now, I actually just applied for a College Fashionista job. So if you're watching this, College Fashionista, yeah, but I just like, I feel like I wish I were just more like proactive with it. Like, even though like, I feel like that one girl who had the pet pig was like the host of it.
So fun. She was like, yeah, so we're just gonna, I think she was like, I think she was actually getting paid by them to like I think that was part of her job or something. So it makes sense. But like, I really wish that I had taken like the time, because I went to like another one and nobody was there. There was like 4 people.
I know.
And I was like, well, this is kind of sad. Like, I want more of that like environment. But I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's SCAD. It's kind of intense. It's hard to just like go on a Saturday. And, like,
I know. I wish I had just been like, okay, I know I'm not like the leader here, but like, let's meet up, or at least even just like fostered more friendships with the other people who were in the group, because like it was definitely a bunch of cool people. But I like thoroughly stalked you when I was like quote unquote prepping for this, and I saw that you did like an internship with them. Like, what was that all about?
Yeah. So when I first applied for College Fashionista, it was back in like, I don't know, summer 2017. It was right before I got to SCAD, because I transferred. I went to community college and then I transferred to SCAD.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. So I did that this summer, like right before I went. And I guess that was like, I applied to do it, I think the last semester where they really did it their old method. So when you first apply for College Fashionista and you get in, it's a whole internship process. And basically what you do is that you basically agree to producing content for them every month. So the one that I was doing was, I think, like June through like August. And so I had 3 months where I was supposed to write like a whole article for them to post on their website, and you had to take pictures. It would have been right up your alley, honestly.
That's, I feel like that's amazing.
So that's what I did. I did that for 3 months, and I only had like 1 article that they ever approved. So that was kind of awkward, but so I think it's still up there. I don't even know if it's still there anymore, but so I did that. That was like my first official semester with them. And then I think right after that, they just kind of like didn't do that anymore. Like they switched how the program worked, and they just made it like to be where you could just like be a part of it. And then I don't know, meet up, and then if you wanted to like do more stuff with that, you had to be part of their fellowship. So it was very weird, but I really enjoyed it. I was only in it for like 3 months as for like the internship went, but it was a lot of fun. It was a great experience getting to like write, and
that's
really
so
creative
cool.
person. So
that's so cool. I feel like when I did it, there was the whole application, and I remember putting in like so much effort because I thought it was going to be like this whole big deal. And I was like really trying to sell myself and being like, oh, this is going to be it. And like immediately they're like, great, you're in. And I was like, wait, what? Like, which is like so casual. Like, why did I spend so much time?
They were like, yeah, your account has to be on public, and you have to have like, and I only had like, I don't even know, like 400 followers or something. And I was like, I want to do this. I want to be part of the fashion industry, like not knowing at all what I was doing. And so I just applied for it because I got like an Instagram ad, and I was like, oh, this sounds cool. And I remember I got the email. I was sitting on my biology class, and I was just like scrolling through my emails, and I got this email like, oh, hey, you're in. And I literally like wanted to jump for joy.
Yes, this is it.
So excited. But I was like, I'm in like I can't do anything. I'm literally in this science class. So I literally texted my mom. I was like, I got it. And she's like, had no idea what I was talking about. But no, it was really fun. I enjoyed a
Oh
lot.
my gosh, that literally sounds, that like scenario sounds like when I was in high school and One Direction released one of their albums and the song Olivia was on it. I was like sitting
Oh
in
my gosh.
anatomy and I remember like it first coming out and seeing that like they wrote a song called Olivia and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like what?" And I was like sitting in anatomy and I was like, "I can't freak out, but I want to freak out." Like definitely not the same thing, but kind of like the same
Yeah.
science freak
No.
out class
Honestly,
thing.
I would be the exact same way if I ever had, like, I don't think it would ever happen because my name is so weird, but if anyone ever like wrote a song that had my name in it or like anything like that, I would freak
Yeah.
out and I would stop talking about it.
That's
So
no,
I
that's like the
probably,
benefit of having like it's annoying having like such a lame common name, but just it's easy songwriting for them and I feel like such a smart marketing move because they're like, how can we appeal to most like make all of these girls feel like we are in love with them and they're like, "Oh, what's the most common name in the world? Okay, let's pick Olivia." So,
yeah.
it worked, I guess, but
Yeah, it did work. It's
yeah.
great. Oh my gosh. So I was gonna ask you, do you remember? Okay, so we I think both lived at O House at the same time.
Yes, sophomore year?
Like yeah, like
Yeah.
sophomore year we both lived at O House. And I remember, I don't know if you're gonna remember this, but I had been watching your YouTube videos when I was like preparing to go to SCAD. And I was talking to my roommates and I was like, yeah, there's that. We were in JO's and I looked over and I saw you sitting at one of the booths and I was like, I know her. Like, I
Probably
watch
like
her
eating
YouTube
Lucky
videos.
Charms.
Yeah, and I was like, should I go say hi? Should I go say hi? And they're like, no, don't say hi. That's so weird. Like, don't go over there and talk to her. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. So I walked over there while you were sitting with your friends, and I was like, hi, this is so awkward, but like I watch your videos, I love them. And I remember you just being like, oh hi, like so nice to meet you. But it was just like kind of awkward because I didn't know what to do. So I was like, okay, bye. I just walked away. But I was like, I don't know if you remember that, but that was like I think before we really like started like
Wait,
with college classes and
I
stuff, things like that. But
remember that like experience happening, but I don't think I remembered
yeah,
it was you.
yeah,
Because I think
yeah.
the thing that was like funny about it was that like I knew that I had like no following and like no subscribers, but the people that I was with, I actually do remember this because the people that I was with were like new friends. Like I hadn't really
Yeah.
hung out with them that much. And they were like,
So
"Oh
they
my
didn't know.
gosh, who are you?" And I was like,
That's
"Oh
so
yeah, it's
funny.
a big deal."
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I'm so glad that it was like not uncomfortable though, because I was like, okay, this is
Mm-mm.
either gonna be the most awkward experience ever, or I'm gonna like come out with it with a new friend. So we're gonna see what happens.
Oh
Cause
my
like
gosh. No,
yeah,
that's like my favorite thing. Like I feel like honestly, like doing the SCAD videos and I don't want to sound like I'm like being self-centered or like tooting my own horn or anything, but like like sometimes I would, especially with like freshmen, or like as I got like junior, senior
yeah,
year, like freshmen would come up to me and be like, "Olivia, oh my God, like you're the reason why I came to SCAD." And I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, like, haha, it's no big deal." But like on the inside, I'd be like so nervous that they're talking to me, but then also like so
yeah,
excited. I had
yeah,
this one time I like was selling random things on my Instagram story, you know, just like whatever random.
yeah.
And I was selling a road sign. For some reason, I don't know. It was just like, I must have found it like one night and I was like,
Street
this is
sign?
so cool. I need this. Just some like, it was like a right, like no right turn. So I don't even know what it was, but I just like found it and like had it in my room for a while and didn't want it anymore. So I was like selling it on Instagram and this one guy was like, bought it and I was like, cool, whatever. And then he came to my apartment to pick it up and he literally, I opened the door and he like took a picture of me and I was like, and I was like in pajamas, like not, and he was like, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like I've been watching your YouTube and like I can't believe like I didn't really even want this road sign. I just wanted like to meet you." And I was like, "This is the worst day of my life." I was like, "This
Oh
is so
my
uncomfortable."
God.
And he was like, "Can I take a selfie with you?" And I was like, "Sure." And then he like took a selfie and he posted it and he was like, "Finally got to meet like YouTuber Olivia." And I was like, "Stop, this is so embarrassing." Like and
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I'm not again like I'm not trying to sound and be like, "Oh my God, I have so many
Right.
fans and people like obsessed with me." Like I'm not trying to be like that. Like that this just happened and I was like, "Why is
No.
this happening?"
Oh my gosh. Okay,
But
well, that makes me feel a little bit better that I
yeah.
didn't just like show up at your house. But I was feeling like really awkward because I'm kind of like, so I'm an introvert, but I have very extroverted tendencies.
Yeah.
So like I feel like it's not really an issue for me to just like go up to somebody and be like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, how are you? But like I know like my roommates were very introverted and they were like, don't do that.
Don't
Like,
do
don't
it.
that's like my best friend. But I was like, no, it's cool because I was trying to do YouTube for a little bit too. And so I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna talk to her and we're gonna like collab and we're gonna do all this cool stuff.
What the heck? We should
Obviously,
have done that.
I know, but see, I felt like that would have been drawing the line though. Like I didn't feel like I could just be like, hey, let's go like shopping or something. Like I don't know. I was like, I don't even know what we would do.
It would have been so much fun. That would have been so fun.
Yeah.
But here we are. Our time is now.
Here we are, both graduated, living our best adult lives.
Yes,
and we're
thriving.
Getting to do that. So
I know. Well, okay, perfect segue. I wanted to ask you how, like, because I know obviously, like, we graduated this past year, and a lot of people are like, oh, like, you're part of the 2020 graduating class. Like, how was that? So, like, I feel like it was now kind of looking back on it. Like, I remember from, like, my perspective, I guess. I remember like when it was happening, I was like so bent out of shape that we weren't getting a graduation. Yeah. And now I like look back on it and I'm like, I just don't care. But like I want to ask like someone else, like how, I don't know, like how was it graduating like in the pandemic? And like I don't know, I saw, like I said, I stalked you very heavily, so I saw that you started working in like November. So I guess like what was it like being in the pandemic and going out into the world, like not necessarily working yet, like, so I don't know, just share your experiences about being a 2020 grad.
Yeah, oh my gosh, getting to talk about myself is my favorite thing.
Yes.
So so I obviously we had the very similar experiences where we were doing online schooling for like the last quarter, because I think when it hit, like it was literally like the very last day. I remember it so well. It was the very last day of like winter quarter. So I think like I was in like one of my final classes and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we're not doing it next quarter, we're gonna be all online. And SCAD gave you the option of like staying on campus if you really wanted to, but I was like, I'm not gonna just do that and like because I'm not gonna have a reason to like really be here. And I only live 2 hours away from Savannah, so it was really easy for me to just like pack everything up and go home. So yeah, I spent my last quarter just doing all of my online schooling at home, and it was definitely a really difficult transition. I think like the hardest part of that was just getting like so used to like having your routines and like your little things that you do when you're away from home.
Oh, totally.
Get like thrust back into that like when you're at home. And Jacksonville, which is where I live, is very different from Savannah, where it's like a huge thriving bustling city. And I loved Savannah because I would just, you know, walk and I'd go get a bagel or I'd like, you know, just like enjoy the environment, and I can't really do that here. So that was like a really like a harsh transition. And then I remember, you know, when they said, oh yeah, by the way, graduation is canceled, I remember being so upset. Like I literally was crying on the phone to like all of my relatives, and I was like, I'm not gonna have a graduation, I'm so sad. And like everybody, I was so upset about it, because like I'm a very sentimental person, and I think like the idea of not having that experience was just like very heartbreaking to me. But yeah, I got over it. So yeah, then I did my final semester at home, and then I officially finished in June. And then it was kind of hard because I went to career fair in the winter, and I had been talking to this one company that's actually based here in Jacksonville. And I like really thought I was going to get in with them. I did like several interviews and everything like that. And so I'd kind of been hoping, and they're a fashion company. So I was like, which is exactly what I want to do. I'm a graphic designer. I like doing graphic design for like the fashion industry. And so I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. And then of course they ghosted me. Never heard from them. Of course. I emailed them. I was like, hey, like what's going on? Like, let's do this. Like, I'm done now. I'm graduated. Like,
it's time.
And then literally never heard from them until like, I don't know, 4 months later. And they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we hired somebody else. And I was like, cool. I kind of figured
Thanks for letting me know.
Excuse me. So then I was just working retail for a little bit from like June to October. And I've been doing interviews back to back, like with so many companies. Like I interviewed with Crate and Barrel, Books a Million, like they flew me out to Alabama for like the corporate headquarters. And like, I literally like had so many close calls, and I was like, yes, this is it.
Oh my gosh.
And then of course, I never heard from them again. So finally I was actually working at Target. And I got an email. I'd done an interview a couple of weeks before with this other company based here in Jacksonville. And I did an interview with them, and obviously I didn't get the job. And so I was working Target, and I got this email from this guy, and he's like, hey, this is kind of awkward, but I got your information from so-and-so who I just interviewed with. And, you know, we're looking for a graphic designer. Do you want to come in for an interview? And I'd never applied for this place before. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it could be a total scam, but we're going to, I was like, let's do an interview. So I went in with them and I did the interview, and they were like, yeah, we love hiring people after college and just getting to teach them new things. And so, I ended up getting the job, which was really awesome. And I've been working there since like November. So I've only been there for a few months, but it's been an interesting experience.
Yeah.
It's not the most creative thing in the world because I work for a government contractor. So I don't get to, yeah, it's not the most exciting thing. I don't really get to do too much as far as like creativity goes because it's very like limited on what I can and can't do. But, you know, I feel like I can't really complain too much because it was the whole 6-month struggle of me trying to like have so many close calls. And so I feel like that's the tricky thing is I feel like you feel very obligated once you finally do get your first job and it's maybe not something that you expected to do or it's not something that you pictured yourself doing. And I feel like there's always that obligation to be like, oh, well, I can't complain. Like, you know, they gave me the job, but then it's like, but it's like, I also feel like, I don't know, I think especially being a very creative person, I feel like I tend to just be like, I want to have those outlets. And so when you don't have that opportunity to do that, it can be a little bit frustrating. So I've been struggling with that because I was like, I don't want to sound ungrateful and I don't want to, I'm obviously very, very thankful for the job. And it's obviously a learning process, right? But it's like, where's the line between talking about your frustrations while also like trying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very, it's that fine line. So I don't know if you can relate to that.
No, all, I totally can. I feel like honestly I go back and forth, especially since I've been doing like YouTube and like Instagram and stuff so like heavily lately, aka I'm super unemployed and I'm just like, let me do this other passion that I have as if it is a real job. And I feel like I go back and forth with like getting these opportunities that are like almost jobs and then me being like, I don't want to waste time doing like something I don't love, but then it's like, okay, but it's also a job and you need a job and you have to be serious. Like, I don't know. I guess just like now being out of college, I'm like, where's the line of like being a real adult and like making hard decisions and then also like being like, life's short, let's live, laugh, love. Like, so I don't know. I definitely like, I mean, I feel like I get emails like that sometimes that are like so random, like they don't even have like an email signature. There's like 3 lines and they're like, we want to interview you. And I'm like, is this a scam? Like, is this shady? Like, but no, I definitely like commend you for like just shooting your shot and like taking these chances. It's really cool. But
and the paycheck definitely helps because it's a salary job and it's way more like it's way more than what I was even asking for on any of my like job applications. So I was like, okay, this is like the perfect opportunity. Like it's a good first job to have. And it's very chill. It's not very, you know, stressful at all. Like I feel like it's very like, this is what I do. And then you know, it's a very,
is it in person
so it's a very
or
relaxed environment? Yeah, no. So we're doing like 2 weeks in the office and then 2 weeks at home. So I just my 2-week home rotation and now I'm going back.
So you're like quarantining, getting COVID, quarantining, getting, but not actually. I'm sure you're like healthy, but
so they do it. That's 2 weeks, and
that's
so
smart.
They have us like
actually,
go back and forth. But yeah, I don't mind it, and I actually really like working from home because I don't know, I feel like it's a lot. It's like I'm in my own space. And I can, you know, drink my coffee like while I work
exactly.
So it's nice. It's a nice environment versus I feel like when I'm in the office, I feel like I'm always just kind of like looking behind my shoulder because I'm so scared. Like,
what are you doing?
You know, so, that was something. But I was gonna ask about you because I know that you did something for Cherie for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Was that like
a job that I worked there for like 6 months. It was they have this weird thing. So they are a company that's like also in line with TikTok and like they're part of ByteDance. So for some reason they're like a huge corporate company and they have this whole like 6-month thing where you start as like a 6-month internship and then you get like onboarded as a full-time employee. But so I worked there for like I was in the like 6-month internship process and then I don't know. I was fully from home because they were like in LA. Obviously, I wasn't doing 2 weeks in LA, 2 weeks at home in Richmond. That would be insane. But very cool. But I was working from home and doing like social media stuff. And honestly, I really wanted to have the same mindset that you have of like, I love like just sipping my coffee and enjoying work from home. My unfortunate extrovertedness was like, I need people like us. So I kind of just like staring at my computer all day. I kind of started to hate it. But it's like, I feel so bad because like I was somehow really like fortunate to be able to get a job like right before we graduated, like right out of college, you know, and just like have that. But then I feel like I might have taken it for granted. And again, that same fine line of being like, you have to be grateful that you have a job right now, and versus like, I'm so unhappy, get me out of this job. I eventually maybe manifested being unhappy and wanting to get out of that job a little bit too much, because I actually got fired. It's okay. I was like, okay, listen, I honestly, like, in this, my thought process of like me recording this right now is like, I have been telling people like, oh, it was the internship, like it ended, which is true. Like it was like right before I was about to get onboarded. And I did hate it and all this stuff is true. But then I was like, wait, didn't I mention on the podcast like a few weeks ago that I got fired? I was like, I gotta be honest with these people. So yeah, I did. I made the mistake of making a like work from home, come to work with me video on YouTube, and apparently that wasn't
no Play-Doh for them.
Yeah, they were like, no, we don't like that, and so they said goodbye. But I did have, it was literally the best 2 weeks of my life. They were like, we have to investigate this. This is a very serious thing. We need to like investigate the video, investigate what you shared. You're on a 2-week paid suspension. And I was like, so you're saying you're gonna pay me my same amount and I don't have to work? And they were like, yes. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll mess up a little bit more often then. No, I mean, not actually, but it was amazing. It was amazing. And then those 2 weeks ended and I was like, wait, I'm still doing nothing, but I'm not getting paid. This is awful. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a learning process, because it's like, I had never worked for like a huge corporate company like that before. And I had never like had the experience of it being like so real. I didn't realize that like if I made a video, they'd be like, oh, this is serious. We have to talk to HR and corporate. Like I've literally only worked with like people that are like really small teams or like small, I don't know, just like small companies.
You think with like a social media company like that too, that they would find it like, oh cool, like she's getting our name out there with our brand, like this is what we do. But I mean, I guess I kind of get it, but it does seem a little, because I don't know, but I get it.
It's definitely like added. I was like, wow, like everyone's saying 2020 is so bad, like it's all great, and then they were like, you're fired, and I was like, I get it now. I get it now. Like, so that was a little bit rough, but I don't know. It's kind of like I go back and forth with the whole like everything happens for a reason thing, because like, again, like I said, I was literally going crazy, like hating working from home and working this job. I just wasn't enjoying it. And then like that happened and I was like, oh man, like why'd this happen? Like I don't deserve this. And then it's like, Olivia, you literally for the past like 6 months have been like, I hate this job. I don't want to work here. So I don't know. You live and you learn. Maybe I should like not do videos anymore.
Yeah. So if you're going to like manifest your dream job, because I know like for you, would it be YouTube and just being like a full-time influencer, or would it be like, because I know you majored in fashion marketing, so would it be like that whole
that's a good question.
Kind of environment, or would you want to do something where you're just like on your own?
Yeah, I think honestly, like I've been, the past like few months have been some weird like introspective times for me where I have really been like reevaluating what I want to do, because I've like that job that I had, I've literally only ever worked in social media, and I feel like the fashion marketing degree, so much of it is social media. I mean, now, did you know that now SCAD has a social media major?
I heard about that, which I'm kind of about, because I feel like I would have loved to have that, like take some classes,
at least like a minor or something.
No, I feel like that would have been so cool, because like when I was applying for jobs, I was like, if I had a social media degree, I would have so many more amazing
job opportunities.
Like, so it's so frustrating that wasn't a thing.
So I like definitely feel like a lot of the fashion marketing like major was a lot about like social media and like that kind of marketing, which obviously that's like the main kind of marketing that's like marketable right now, whatever. But I don't know. So I feel like my whole life I've kind of been like social media, like blogging, influencer stuff, and then I kind of like I've done it at so many jobs, and every single job I'm like, I hate this, I don't want to do this, and I'm like, I should make some real like choices or whatever, that like realize that I don't want to do this. And the thing is that's weird is that I love doing it for myself, but like the second that it is like a real like a job for a company, like that's when I start hating it, which is also kind of like, okay, obviously I can't just live a life with no rules and no direction and be like, haha, this is great. But like I think I would love to do like YouTube and stuff full time, because honestly, since like losing that job and like doing YouTube full time on my own, even though like I'm still so small, I'm like, this is awesome. I'm having so much fun doing it. I would love to do it. This is kind of what I wanted when I started my blog like 10 years ago. And I'm just like, if I could do this and like make a actual amount of money that like matters and like that could get me through the day, not just like $1 a day, then I'd be like all about that. But then I also think like, okay, but then if I did start to gain like a larger following and this did become my like full-time thing, would I like start to hate it? Like, I don't know. And also it's like, it's hard too, because obviously I feel like I have like quarantine goggles on where I'm like, this is so easy. Like I could do this, but it's also like, I'm alone right now because I have to be, because it's quarantine. But like the life of an influencer is literally so lonely. Like you literally like you make your content and then you're like sitting alone in your house, like at your desk for hours editing. And like, it's, I don't know, it's hard because there's also that weird line of like what's real and what's fake with like influencer culture. And like, I feel like I try to have my platforms be like super real, but then it's like, I don't know. I feel like bigger creators and stuff, you look at it and you're like, did you just do this for like the vlog, or did you actually like have fun doing this? You know? So I don't know. I'm trying to like I'm having this like quarter life crisis where I'm like, is this what I want to do? Is this fulfilling? So sorry, to answer your question, if I had like to choose and like manifest my dream life, I am really into, and I know I literally didn't even mention this in the last like 15 hours that I've just been rambling, but I really want to do like styling. Like I would love to do like that side of fashion and like styling other people, styling just like for like photo shoots, being like on set. Like I feel like if I've learned something about myself, it's that I definitely thrive in a more like hands-on environment. Like I'm not going to be like designing really, because that's hard and scary. But I think I just
very impressive though, because I watched, sorry,
no, you're fine.
but I watched like your videos on you like sewing things, and I was like, this is so cool. She's so talented. She knows like what she's doing. I've always wanted to learn how to sew, but I'm literally terrified of the sewing machine.
It's so like, easy, pun intended. It's so easy, and it's like literally okay. But also the thing is, I try to like, again, I know like I literally just said it's like what's real and what's fake with like social media, but I try to be as real as I can and show everything. But the amount of times that I am like sewing something and the needle breaks or something happens and I'm like, no, like I'm just like yelling at my sewing machine and like cutting things and re-sewing things, and I try to show a lot of it, but I'll tell you, I'm not perfect. It's not like I'm like just sewed this, made a pair of pants in 5 minutes. Like there's definitely like
my roommate was a fibers major, so like I always saw her just like sewing away, or like she'd do a lot of like hand embroidery, and I'm like, that is so freaking cool, and I wish I had the patience and the time to do that, but I feel like the minute my needle breaks, I'll just be like done, screw everything, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm just gonna buy it on freaking Depop,
literally no, I like will see these videos, and like I saw, you know, Selkie, I think that's how you pronounce it, the like dresses and stuff. Yes, I saw this video of this girl that was like making my own Selkie dress, and I was like, oh my gosh, and she like it was probably like 500 steps, and she took her like multiple days, and she was like, well, I messed up the sleeve, so I'm gonna do it again, and I did this, and I was like, how do I want one of these dresses so badly? And I literally saw the thumbnail and like clicked thinking like, oh yeah, I could totally do this, and I got like 3 minutes in and I was like, not for me. Like I need instant gratification. Like this is not this is so out of my wheelhouse. But I just I don't know. I feel like, honestly, I just want like a job that like is everything. You know what I mean? Like I want to do a little bit of everything. Like I literally remember being like in like 4th grade and people being like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And just being like I want to do everything. Like I want to be the person that like when you're writing the guest list for like the Met Gala, they're like, oh, we have to have Olivia Ruffin. She has to come to this. And then like also I want to be the person that's like, oh yeah, like this event, like she has to be like, I'm not saying I want to be some like it girl, but I want to be like traveling a bunch and I just feel like the world is literally so, this is so cheesy, but I feel like there's like so much to offer in the world that it would be like such a waste of time if I just worked like in a desk job for my whole life. You know what I mean?
No, I
Yeah.
get that for sure.
I don't know.
And I think like that was always something that I really struggled with too when I was in high school.
Mhm.
Because actually I was gonna be an acting major for a really long time. I was a huge theater
Dude,
kid.
same.
I loved like no, I loved it. I thrived on the stage. I was like, I'm a thespian.
Yes, I love it.
So yeah, no, for the really long time I wanted to be an acting major, and I like when I was doing all my college tours, like that's what I was like looking at, and that's what I thought I was gonna do. And then like around my junior year of high school, I literally had a crisis, and I was like, wait, I was like, what actually can I do with an acting degree? Like nothing. Like really, unless you like make a big, you know what I mean? I was like, it's not a lot. I literally had to sit down and I had to really like come to terms with like what I wanted to do. And I knew that it had to be something creative. I was like, I don't want to be just at a desk job just doing like stocks or I don't even know what like
no, me
I
neither.
really don't like you just click things.
I don't know. Just sit there all day.
But I was like, that's not for me. That's not for me. I would literally lose my mind. So I knew that I wanted to do something creative, but I'm also a very kind of logical person. So I was like, oh, graphic design, I'll do that. Like not really like understanding what graphic design is, but also kind of knowing. I was like, yeah, so everybody needs a graphic designer. I'll just get a degree in graphic design and then I'll be doing creative and then also just being very logical, not really thinking about like, all of the work that goes into that. So then when I got into SCAD, I was like, am I doing the right thing? Like, I would see so many people who were so much more talented than I was. Gosh. And I was like, you're not graphic design, which is a whole like
don't even literally like the whole like SCAD. I feel like a lot of the people who watch my videos and stuff are SCAD people because I made so many SCAD videos, and that's like they saw that and they stayed, whatever. But I just feel like the whole SCAD like pressure cooker of like you get there and you're like, yes, we are all equals creatives, and then like you start classes and you're like, oh, you're way better than I am. And like even like professors, I feel like kind of like pit you against each other, and they're like, you have to be the best, and if you're not the best, you're not good enough. And you're like, oh God. Like, so yeah, that's like you said, a whole nother episode. But yeah, sorry to interrupt you. You can continue on your story, but
no. So then when I got to SCAD, I was like, oh, am I doing the right thing? And I kind of like, I don't like admitting defeat. Like I don't like giving up. So I'm just going to, I was like, I'm a year into this. I don't want to spend more money staying another year and like switching my degree. I was like, I'm just going to stick with it. And I'm glad I did, because I ended up, the more that I like learned the programs and the more that I really got to like kind of hone my craft, I really started to enjoy it a lot more. And now I really like doing it. So I think, you know, it just took that kind of time and like putting effort into it. And I think that's just something that I forget sometimes, because I hate admitting defeat, but I also am really lazy.
Same.
So I feel like if something's really difficult, I just give up and I'm like, whatever, it's fine. I'll get back to it later. Because it made me feel stupid and I don't like that. So so I'm really glad that I just made the decision to stick with it. But like when I graduated and I was looking for jobs, I was like, what if I just like went back to school and just was like, got another degree in fashion? And I was like, I can't same. I was like, that's so ridiculous.
I remember having a conversation with my parents and being like, I want to go to grad school and get a fashion design degree. And they were like, you are putting your life off. And I was like, that's not true. I was like, you don't know me. Like, I want to learn. I am really passionate about learning. And they were like, so many people go to grad school thinking that they're like, this is the move. And then they're like literally just putting it off because like you've been used to like school your whole life. And then like you get put out into the world and you're like, I don't know what I want to do. What if I just go to school and learn something else new? Like it's it's totally I mean, definitely people go and get degrees and it's definitely very beneficial, but I feel like same. Like I definitely went through that. So and
it's just like it was just that constant thing of where I'm like, oh, I'm scared to like, oh, what if I actually, that was like one fear that I had too when I was applying. I was like, oh, what if like, because I've only ever done graphic design where it like doesn't, I mean, like, the stakes aren't as high, you know, because like the worst I have to lose is just like I get an F. But like, what if I do it in this like big corporate environment and like, you know, I can't deliver on something, or like they hate my designs and then like I freak out and I start crying, you know what I mean? Like that was a very real like fear of mine, and my mom was like, it's okay, like you got it, like once you get it you will. And so and thankfully like it has been, like I said, a very low-key job so far. I hope I didn't myself, but so I think those are very like real struggles, and I feel like I wish people talked about that more, you know, like I wish people I just feel like it's not something that a lot of people address, because I feel like SCAD is so good at marketing itself as being this like, oh, once you graduate, like you'll have everything figured out for you. that. I've gotten so many emails. I literally once a week I get an email from the alumni thing where it's like, oh, tell us what you're doing. Where are you working? What are you doing? And I was like,
I don't want to talk.
I'm not gonna don't talk to me. So I wish that like SCAD did a better job at just communicating the realness of the struggles after you graduate, you know? And maybe like our experience was a little bit different because we like were kind of thrown like into the pandemic and we really didn't have time to think about anything else. But I really wish that like, I don't know, professors were like, they're like, okay, yeah, this is to prepare you for your future career, but it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna just, you're not gonna just wake up and have a job. Like that's not how it's gonna work. It's gonna be a very, it's
I literally feel like I do not know how people get jobs. I was talking to one of my friends once who she used to work at Vice, like Vice Media, whatever. And we like visited her one day in her office like a few years ago, and she was like showing us her desk and stuff, and I was like, how do you know what to do? Like, how do you like when you come into work, how do you like know what to do? I feel like I literally like, obviously with school and stuff, you like are given a syllabus with a project, you know exactly the deliverables you need to do, and like that's it. And then like I'm like, how do you like when you come to work, do you just like know what tasks you have to do? Like do you is someone like, I feel like when I worked this summer, like that social media job, literally every day I'd be like, hi, what am I doing today? Like, how do people just go to their jobs and know what to do? And she was like, I don't. Like I literally don't. Like I come to work and I'm just like either waiting for something to happen or like acting like I know what I'm doing, because like they literally don't tell, like people, you see someone with a job and you just assume that they like know what's going on, but in reality no one knows what's going on. Like it's like you're all kind of just like faking it and like acting like but I don't know, it's just like I'm scared to like, I'm applying for all these jobs and I'm like, how am I going to know what to do? Like unless I'm either the person who's like the very top and I'm like, okay, like calling the shots, and like, which also, I mean, obviously that's not going to happen anytime soon. Well, fingers crossed, maybe, who knows? But like, you know, I'm just like, either I'm that or I'm someone who I'm just like, give me tasks because I wouldn't even know where to start, you know, like with any job, I'm just like, how does this work?
Yeah, I'm definitely, so I'm not like an organized person at all when it comes to like my actual life. Like I'm very chaotic, but when it comes to like doing work, I have to know like what I'm working on. And that's like something that I'm doing with my job right now is because it's a government contract, like we get like certain things that we're working on and I can't like talk too much about it. So I don't want to like
exclusive.
not to be like one of those people, but I literally don't
so coming from someone who got fired, like don't mess around. Like
but yeah, so like I'll sit there and I'll wait for like, you know, my assignment, because we have like our head graphic designer and he is the one that like, assigns me what I'm doing. And so he's like, okay, so you're going to be doing this, and then the other designer, she's going to be doing this, and then it like I'll have it done in like an hour, and then like I have nothing to do, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, yeah, what do you want me to do? And he's like, oh, just like watch tutorials, like just go on LinkedIn and like watch. I'm supposed to be learning like animate and After Effects for this job, and so he's like, yeah, just like go on YouTube and just like learn how to use After Effects. And I was like, can I have like some more direction? Cause like I can, but like I'm not a learner that can just sit there and like watch something. This makes sense. I need to know specifically like what I'm supposed to be looking for. I can't just like watch an entire like 12-hour video about,
be like, I'm a pro now.
Like that. So I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like constantly like I'm in the same boat. Like I've literally no idea what I'm doing most of the time until I get that thing. Oh, like this is what you're doing. And I'm like, okay. And then I can work on it. And then I'm like, okay, well, what do I do
feel
now?
like I would literally like have, when I was working, I would literally like, they'd tell me kind of like what they needed and I'd be like, okay. And I'd make something and I'd be like, submit it and be like, what do you think about this? And they'd be like, almost. And I'd be like, okay, but like what should I fix? And they'd be like, headed in the right direction. And I'm like, okay, but what is the direction? Like, and they'd be like, okay, yes, but like it's almost there but not quite. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like I need some guidance. God, it was so It was tough. Yeah. And also the job that I had, it was supposed to be like social media. And then they just like forced me to be a graphic designer. And they'd be like, Olivia, why can't you make this? And I'd be like, hire a freaking graphic designer. Like, I do not know what I'm doing. Like, I thought I was going to be like responding to DMs, but you literally have me like making a full on like marketing plan, like graphics. I don't even know. Yeah. It was tough.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. my roommate, one of my roommates got a job working for like this really awesome like ocean aquarium up in Massachusetts. Cool. And she's always doing like this really cool stuff. And she's like, oh, today I made socks, or like, and she'll show me like stuff. And I'm like, I want that job. Like, what do you, like, I want to just know. And she's always just been like this really confident like person where she always just like knows what she's doing. And I was like, how are you not freaked out about this? Like, if they were just okay, yeah, make socks, I'd be like, okay, like, but what? Like I'd be so scared that like I'm not doing the right thing. And I feel like that's just something that I really need to just get out of, because I'm like such a people pleaser. And I also really beat myself up if I did something wrong. So if like it's not right, I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do? Like, tell me how do I fix it? Like,
that would happen to me. I would literally like make something. They would be like, okay, well, just like, you know, it's almost worse, especially, and I feel like this is definitely something that happens like in school too. Like, if the projects that were always the hardest were when they were just like, up to you, like, you've got this, like, figure it out on your own. Like, I would literally, they'd be like, okay, just do this, like, we trust you. And then I'd be like so frustrated by that, and then be like, fine, okay, and then like go all in with like my creative ideas and be like, okay, like, here's what it is, I'm super confident about this. And they'd be like, Olivia, what is this? Like, no. And I'd be like, I quit, like, I can't do this anymore. Like,
it's like, you said it was up to me, then it's
I know, and it's just like, oh god, I feel like no one talks about like how when you get a job, like, that's not it. Like, you're not, like, it's not just like smooth sailing from there. Like, it's definitely like such a learning curve. It's so different from school. And like, I don't know, again, like, I feel like you said, like, we kind of, it was different because we were kind of thrown into the like pandemic working world. But I don't know, I feel like these struggles are still very real, you know? Like, I feel like a lot of people are still kind of feeling this. Like, I mean, it's like, is it going to click one day? Like, because I feel like I can't, there's no way everyone until like the day they retire is like feeling the same way. But maybe.
Yeah. Like, I would love to just like go into work and just like be so confident in like what I'm doing. Like, I binge watched Younger recently.
It's on my watch list.
It's so good. So I binge watched it, and like, it is like everything. Like, I love the idea of just working at this like big corporate publishing house and like getting to wear whatever I want and just walking around and being like, okay, I have an interview with this person today, and she's gonna do this, so we're gonna do this. And everybody's like, yeah, cool, awesome. I was like, how do I become that person? Because I don't know who that is. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's such a cool environment, but obviously it's like it's TV, so I know that it's probably a lot more boring in real life, but it's just like, you know, you have like, that's, I don't know, that's just always what I've like wanted to aspire when I think about working in like the fashion industry. You know what I mean? I was like walking through with like an assistant, and I have like my coffee, and I'm like, yeah, okay, tell me.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started about the coffee. I just like, it's like little things like that where I'm like, I so badly want a job so I can like have a small plant on my desk, so I can like wear this outfit, like have this coffee. Like, have you seen The Bold Type, that show?
I started watching like the first episode, but I haven't
get into it, because I feel like you would really like it if you're interested in that kind of like work environment. Like, it's so good, and also just the characters are so good, and literally every episode they touch on some kind of like social issue, but it's not in like a cheesy way, like it makes sense. But it's so good, and I literally watched that show, and I'm like, just how like get me there. Like, I just want to be there. It makes me like want to work, which is like, what? That's crazy. But like, I don't know, the luxury of like having a job, and like, I don't know, I feel like I feel like I kind of definitely took it for granted, like being more realistic about like getting a paycheck. And oh my god, I filed my taxes recently and I got money back, and I was like, oh wow, this is nice. Like, this is, I mean, obviously I'm like, the more money you get back is like, it's also working more and like doing stuff, so it's not just like free money, but it felt like it was. And that was amazing. And I was like, I want to work more. But
I'm right there with you. And like, it's also that because like I haven't qualified for any of the
stimulus
checks, because like I'm still my mom. So like like I'm gonna use the stimulus and like invest it. And I'm like, I'm still target, so.
No, I wanted to do that so badly, but they were like, you're living at home, and like your parents are employed, and like you're fine. Like, don't. And I was like, Okay.
Yeah, you don't need the stimulus.
But I want it. I want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, some of my friends, when it like first came out, like some of my friends got it and I was like, they were like, oh yeah, like dinner's on me. And I was like, what is this fun like luxury? And they're like, well, we're like unemployed and like have like so much, I don't know, like paying for college on our own. And I was like, I don't know, man. It sounds kind of fun. Like, which obviously, like, it's not actually, but you know, it's just, it's definitely. I don't want to sound like I'm being like, what is the word? Like ungrateful or like privileged. Which I know it's a huge privilege to like not need the stimulus check, but at the same time, I'm like money. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to sound like a jerk.
No, I totally understand where you're coming from because I was like, my mom was like, well, you don't need, I'm paying, like, I'm literally paying for you to live here. Like, you don't pay rent. Like, what do you mean you don't need money? And I was like, but mom, I need it.
I know. And then I will literally like, I'll be like talking to my parents about money and be like, I need a job, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll like get a package and they'll be like, you're spending money. You're spending money. And I'm like, no.
I feel like every time I have to like sneak out to the mailbox because I don't want my mom to like see that I have another package. And I know that she's like doing it in like the best like kind of interest, but she's like, what'd you order today? And I was like, I don't want to show you because I know you're gonna make fun of me.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I mean, I'm like, it's hard because I have the like, oh, I need to move out, like I'm gonna do this and I like I'm gonna pay rent and all this stuff, and they're like, when are you gonna move out? And I'm like, I totally can, like blah blah blah. And then like 5 seconds later my parents will be like, I'll like ask them for like money for like dinner or something, and they're like, I thought you were gonna move out. And I'm like, I don't have any money. And they're like, how are you gonna move out then? I don't know, it's stupid and I feel like it sounds so petty saying all that, but I definitely like, even if I have like quote unquote have money, like it's like I need to be way smarter and like save it and like invest it or whatever. I don't even know where to start with that. I made like one like budgeting thing and I was like, I am the best with money. Like I will literally like block my card, like freeze my card and like so I can't use it and be like, I am so responsible with money, I'm not spending anything. And I'm like, Olivia, the fact that you had to like lock your debit card so you can't even use it, you're not good with money. You're just like, you just threw away your card.
That's such an issue with me too, because I feel like now that I've gotten a job and I'm making like, a lot more money than I've ever had before, as I've gotten older, I've really kind of like I've sort of like wanted to have like better things, if that makes sense. Like I want my clothes and I want like the things that I like have around me to just be like better quality. So my problem is that I'll be online and I'm like, oh, $100 for a sweater. Yeah, that's reasonable. And then I'll like buy it. But it's like, no, you literally can't do that. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, who am I? Like, this is not a good mindset to have. Because when I was in college, that was not what happened. Just like a switch happened. Like whenever I got my first paycheck, I was like, yes, I can buy what I want.
No,
now.
you
And
can't.
Like,
no, you can't. Like the fact I like recently did this thing where it was like, oh, like if you, what was it? It was like I learned that like if you spend like $20 a day, it was 20 something a day, like in a year that's like $10,000 or something. Some weird like it's like, you know, when you like see those things where it's like use like Afterpay or something and it's only, you're like, oh, it's only like $10 a month, but it's like for 40 months and you're like, like it's just like I totally know what you're talking about. Like I literally, when I started getting my paychecks, I was like, I used to be so stingy. Like I would never buy clothes for myself or anything. And then like I would get a paycheck and I'd be like, I understand that $80 for this sweater is enough because it's sustainable and I'm spending my money wisely. And it's like, Olivia, no, you don't need this. Like, stop. This doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know why I got like one paycheck and had like more than like $25 in my bank account. And I was like, I'm rich now. Like, I am the wealthiest person in the world. Like, I feel like that's another thing. Like, it's literally just basics of like, not even like, I wish SCAD, and I feel like schools in general, like, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely a school out there that does this and probably does a good job at it. But like, I feel like they just don't teach you the like real life things. Like if they taught us, instead of just being like, yeah, use our job portal, you're good. Like if they were like, here's how to get a job, here's how to like actually work your job, here's how to save money, here's how to like do like find a house. I don't like how much is too much to spend. Like I feel like that's stuff that you just like don't learn because you're like living in this like school bubble for so long that you just like don't realize what it's like to be an actual adult. So
And I feel like it would be so easy to do that because when I don't know if SCAD did something similar because I didn't go into SCAD like right as a freshman. But when I first started college, I was at a community college here, and they made every incoming freshman take like a strategies for success class that you could not get out of. Like it was mandatory. And it was literally just stuff like, you know, it's bad to like, you know, bully somebody versus like doing this. And I was like, okay, if we have to take this class, let's make it about something that we don't all already like know. You know, it's more about ethics than like I would have loved to have a class all about how to like, budget properly. Or like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that would have been so much more beneficial than just like, oh, you know, don't bully somebody. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like it would have been so much more beneficial to have something of that, which obviously schools could do if they wanted to. But yeah, so
yeah, no, I am right there with you. I also, okay, I don't know how long we've been recording this. I feel like it's been like an hour, so we should probably like start to wrap up.
Like I said,
but
I love to, so I go on tangents.
No, it's so good. See, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted this episode just to be like, so the listener kind of feels like they're like just having a conversation with us, you know? Like I wanted it to be super casual and just like talking about the struggles together. Because sometimes I feel like on my podcast, I sound a little redundant, like talking about the stuff on my own. But like, I don't know, when it's with another person and you start like, it's sparking different like points of the conversation. I don't know. Very beneficial. So thank you. But before we go, definitely like hype yourself up for like a minute. Just say where everyone can find you, like stuff you do, whatever you want to share with the world. Do it now. Yeah.
So I'm the most active on Instagram. You can just find me. It's at Brinna from the block. And then I also have like a couple of other Instagrams. Like I'm trying to build up, I do film photography on the side. So I'm trying to like build up my film account. So if you want to follow me on there, it's just at the Filminist.
Cute. Like I like it.
It's film. And then I'm trying to get into YouTube again. So if you are watching this and you want, I don't know, more of my content, you can follow me on YouTube. It's just my name, Brinna Feist. I have a bunch of videos that I've already filmed. I'm just in the process of trying to get them like recorded and look decent, which I'm so inspired by your videos, by the way. I like see how like the cool little frames and stuff. And I was like, I want to do that. And I think that's
do it. Do everything I do. I literally won't, like, I'm like the last person who's gonna be like, this girl did something that sort of mildly looks like me. Like, how dare she? Like, literally, I feel like it's all about like learning and trying and growing. Like if you want to make a carbon copy of every single one of my videos, do it. Like because it's just about like learning and experimenting and like getting comfortable in front of the camera. So like do whatever.
Good to know. But yeah, thanks so much. I had the best time.
I know this was so much fun. I'm like, thank you so much for just like, I know you're like, I love to talk, but like seriously, thank you so much for being just so like comfortable and natural. Like it definitely is so helpful because I feel like, I don't know, sometimes, again, like the random people who are like, I want to be on the podcast. And like, what do you want to talk about? And they're like, nothing. And I'm like, okay, like what? So I don't know. I just, it's really, I'm very grateful that you were so like talkative and you make it so easy, you know? So
well, thanks for, I'm very fortunate that you were just like cool with it because my friends were horrified that I just emailed you like, hey, can I be on your podcast?
Dude,
they were like, why would you do that? I was like, I want to be on a podcast.
I'm glad that you talked to me in JOs that day. I'm glad that you emailed me. It's all about just shooting your shot. So, and also I'm literally like, I'm not doing anything. So like, I appreciate it. But yes, thank you so much for hanging out. And thank you everyone for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe and also just listen to the podcast everywhere. It's always new episodes every Friday. So thank you. All right. And I'm going to sign off and end this Zoom now. So thank you so much. This was so fun. Bye.